So hi, One of the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Kay from Spring Silver.
and we're gonna ask them some questions today about their upcoming album. I Could Get Used to This. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
I feel good. I feel nervous, I guess.
Fair enough.
It's, nervous to see how it goes, how it turns out. But I like the album, so maybe other people will too.
The album's
For sure,
very
it
good.
banged.
Yeah.
Yeah. It banged.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Good.
So, is there any meaning behind the album name or cover art?
Yes.
Mhm.
I so the name is, I suppose it's kind of ironic. Like I was sort of thinking about, in a lot of movies there's this sort of like corny antiquated line where someone is sort of living a life of ease, and they're like, I could get used to this. Like it's just like that line in and of itself is already ironic, but then like the idea that like you're sort of taking that and applying it to like sort of the state that we're all in right now,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is like basically like we sort of have to adjust to the just like this sort of new, I don't know, post before times. This I don't know, the like to like COVID, and at this point just like numerous other factors that could be sort of attributing to life being difficult. And it's sort of asking the question like, can you get used to this? Can you actually get used to this, or will you just change and like just tell yourself, I can adjust, I can like make this happen. And then the photo was from 2020. Yeah, it was during quarantine, and I like woke up just feeling really awful.
Mhm.
And I was like, I feel like I need to like capture this moment of like how I'm feeling. And yeah, my friend was actually telling me it the album cover kind of looks like, is that the Charlie album, How I'm Feeling Now?
Sure. How I'm feeling? I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I too was trying to capture how I was feeling. So I like uh put my camera on a tripod and like sort of blocked out the windows, and then like just took this photo of like what I would oftentimes be doing, just like sort of like doom scrolling in my bed, just like, I don't know, like just taking in like an immense amount of information, like, but also just like, I don't know, like supine or whatever, just like in your bed, like just taking in just like loads of information, and like that sort of being a kind of like universal like sort of habit that people have, which is like kind of wild.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. All right.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
I guess in a lot of ways it was pretty similar to the last one, where I would be sort of writing riffs, or sort of looking through like demos that I had written in the past and recorded, and sort of compiling them mostly in Logic, the software.
Mhm.
And then like sort of matching them with lyrics that I had written, just sort of as like sort of songless poems, and seeing which ones would fit. And so that was kind of the like sort of structure that is kind of similar to the Natural World. And then also it was recorded in a similar manner, where it was just like over the course of a few years kind of being like brought together piecemeal, like recorded at like my parents' house, or sometimes with my friend Ananth, who I mix this with. But yeah, just like kind of like a tapestry that was like kind of being made over time. And yeah.
So you mentioned like you put poems to like beats. Is that like your writing process? You write in poems?
um yeah, I mean, I will just like write like sort of like a written, I guess, piece.
Mhm.
And like I'll be like, this could be a song. Like this could be lyrics to a song, but there's no song yet. And so I like I sort of write songs and lyrics independently of each other. So like if it's not like if it starts out and it doesn't have a song, I guess it's like technically a poem.
Okay.
And I also like I'm sort of writing with that in mind, that like sort of the prose is good. And like if I'm like trying to, I feel like if I'm like actively like working on a song and then trying to come up with lyrics that fit the song as I'm working on it, then that could maybe be sacrifice some of the wording than if I have something that I've already written, and then I can just sort of like massage it here and there just to make it fit. But yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense. So I want you to tell us your favorite lyric off this album and the meaning behind it.
I guess I'll go with I Saw Violence. There's this that song is about when I was at University of Maryland, Baltimore County. They invited Melania Trump, when she was the first lady, they invited her onto like a campus facility to speak with kids from the neighboring high school. And they didn't tell us because they knew we would be mad. So we like found out through like the news, just like the local news. And so then we like quickly I joined this protest that was happening on campus, and this like dude in a MAGA hat came, and he like was like, I want a civil debate. And then like
you know you're not gonna get one. That's not happening.
Yeah, you're like, it's funny to like be at a protest and be like, I want a civil debate here at this protest. This is the perfect forum. And then like very, very shortly after he punched someone in the nose.
Exactly.
Like,
God.
it's like irony among irony. And then the police were there, obviously, because Melania Trump speaking, and you know, they couldn't have possibly missed it. And they like interviewed the school newspaper interviewed the UMBC chief of police, and he was like, he said both that it was staged and that also that it like didn't happen, which I think those two things would like
cancel each other out.
Yeah.
No, I don't think those can both be true.
Yeah.
But, so the lyric that I really like is fuck, what is it? It's
Okay.
okay, so the lyric is, the police struck while the iron was hot. They swiped the blood from the sidewalk with whiteout. So like it's basically like if this was information that occurred, they're basically using whiteout to get rid of sort of the truth, like sort of massage the truth. And then also, you know, the idea that there's blood on the sidewalk and they're like literally like wiping it away. And so it's like metaphors. But when I came up with that, I was like, hey, nice.
There you
It's
go.
a good lyric. That's
Very,
a
very good.
crazy story, by the way.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Like it feels like, yeah, it just, watching it happen, I was like, is this real?
Yeah.
Is this like actually happening?
Yeah, it feels like something you'd see in like a TV show. It's
because
it's
it sounds dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounds
Yeah.
like it sounds like an AI created like and then they came up and then they said, I want a civil debate, and then they punched the person.
Exactly.
Like,
And then the police denied it.
But it happened, and it's like makes it like it's just so it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you write the opener to be the closer, closer to be the closer? Did you shuffle it around, see what fits? What was that process like?
The track order. Yeah, I don't know that I wrote any of these with the concept of like how they should be ordered. It's like once they were done, or once they were nearing finished, I was like, okay, now I have to really like consider where these things would go. And I'm pretty happy with where they are. I think the sort of order, if you look at it as if it were a vinyl, which it very much like is not at this point, just because like there's like no vinyl on Earth or something. But
Plenty of Adele though.
Yeah.
Plenty of Adele, yeah. Brief.
But I was kind of making it so that it like side A, starts kind of like energetic and then ends like somber. So Little Prince is like sort of like a energetic opener, and then Seymour Stop is kind of like the like somber kind of like mid-tempo one, and then it's sort of on the side B, it starts with Oh Christie, which is kind of a similar thing, and then ends with what's God, I always forget what the name, Call It Strength. Which like, I mean, that one has like distorted stuff, but it's also somber. So I was sort of trying to keep it sort of varied, but also have that as kind of a guiding thing, I think, a little bit.
All right.
Makes sense. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace was at while you were creating this album?
I was feeling up and I was feeling down. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Just like processing. A lot of this album is kind of like me sort of like bouncing off the walls in my room, as so many other people were, and just being like, sometimes just being like, oh God, this is hell, and other times being like, no, I don't need anyone, this is great, I'm like in my room and do whatever. And just like this kind of like, I don't know, this like sort of strange kind of like headspace that you get in when you're in situations like this, and you're like facing like both like personal and like sort of public tragedy, but also like, I don't know, just like still like continuing on with life and like sort of, like engaging with it, and sometimes enjoying it and sometimes not. And yeah, it's me just sort of trying to capture that sort of thing.
Okay, makes sense. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is it a party album, workout album? What do you personally recommend?
I guess that's up to them. I tried to keep it, I don't know if I tried to, but it ended up being quite varied. I think where some of the songs, like if you couldn't play them at a party, you could probably play them all in a car, like running and be like, hey, let's throw that on. And other ones are a little more somber. Maybe you're like listening at your home or at your home. You're listening, I don't know, like, and lying down thinking about stuff. But I don't know. I'm always like a stickler for detail. So like if it's always good if you're in a situation that where like you can sort of like really actively listen, that's cool. But I don't know. I mean, I'm really down for anything, like I listen to a lot of music on like my laptop speakers, and I'm like, that's good, that's fine with me.
Fair enough, as long as they're listening.
So, not all the time, but like yeah, I mean, I'm not really too much of a stickler for that sort of stuff.
Okay,
that's valid. Right. So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less. As fast as you can.
That's not one of them. No.
Okay.
Aggressive, somber, hilarious.
All
there
right.
you go. Hilarious. The knee slapper, of course.
I think
that's perfect. So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through this album?
I don't know. At this point, it's I guess that's in their wheelhouse, whatever they feel from the songs, especially because sometimes you'll like the way you feel about a song, whether like a song that you wrote or like any song, you're like, oh, this is like a very sad song, and other people are like, oh, this is like a very like relaxing, chill song. And I'm like, oh, that's not how I was like engaging with it. But I don't know, it's up to whoever's listening to it, I guess, however it hits them.
Fair enough.
So what is your favorite memory that you made while creating the album?
Honestly, I really enjoyed mixing it with Ananth. A lot of times I'm like working on it by myself, which is very easy for me, and that like the workflow is just like me. I'll just be like, okay, why don't I do this? And then I do it. I'll like, why don't I put this pedal here or whatever? And it's fun to like actively like be listening to it with somebody else, and then we're also working on it. So like it's like a there's like a cool sort of collaborative process that I feel like sometimes I don't always get, especially now with COVID and quarantine. So that was like, I mean, it was basically just like us sitting in a room and being like, okay, well, maybe like take the mids out or keep the mids in. It's like just like technical stuff, but it's kind of fun to like just sort of go over the entire album in that way. And like, yeah.
All right, very cool.
That's sweet.
So picture this: you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
That's an interesting question because like there's like the snack of choice, but then there's also like a snack of choice, but that I might like regret it later.
That's fair. That's fair. In the moment, you're happy with it, but a couple hours down the
later
line,
you're like, oh no, what have I done?
The poor venue bathroom.
But I'm always down for Arizona, just like Arizona iced tea. One time I was on tour with, and this is not really a snack of choice, but I was on tour with Mr. Goblin, and so they have like Oreos, then double stuffed Oreos, and then they had like, I have a photo of it. This is real. It was like most stuffed Oreos. Y'all know about this?
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, what's with that?
I don't know. It's like an inch worth of icing with the still like tiny little crackers. It's I haven't tried it. I don't think I would want to.
I think I tried it. I must have. I don't know.
How was it?
Late at night. I can't remember. I don't know. I like frosting. I like the Oreo frosting more than most people. But even for me, I think that was that was
a little too much.
Yeah, it's a little too much sugar.
A bold choice on their part.
For sure. So on the topic of food, if the project was a dish, what dish would the project be? Not band.
Maybe like a pasta casserole.
Ooh.
I'm like right now I'm living with my mom, and she's making a pasta casserole like right now.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
All right,
it's really good. But also like, yeah, I guess the idea that there are like plenty of different like things that like you could sort of put in a casserole that like sort of complement each other, but then on top there's like this, whatever that is, like the crumbs or the cheese that like sort of like the unifying thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
perfect.
Right.
I love it.
So for the last couple questions, we're going to shift completely away from music. So if you could be one animal for the rest of your life, what animal would you be and why?
Human. I don't being a human.
No.
Probably like an orca. I love orcas. They're so cool.
Yeah. Orcas that's Shamu,
no.
right?
Did I say orcas? I meant beluga. Orcas are kind of scary.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say they're like they hunt like whales, right?
They'll do anything.
Yeah, they're crazy. They're crazy.
I like belugas. They're cool. I want to meet one.
Are belugas the one with the big lobe on the front?
Yeah, I like went to an aquarium once, and I was like basically talking to a beluga. So
that's sick.
That's awesome.
That to happen again.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. So if you could have lunch with any celebrity or artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Maybe Daniel Lopatin. I just think he's so cool. Like I just love One Tricks Point Never, and he's like a big influence. And I don't know, seems like a funny guy.
All right, fair enough.
Perfect.
So for this last question, boom, you're on a desert island. You can bring one movie, one person, and one album. Who and what are you bringing?
Whoa, okay. I don't have to subject someone to like desert island.
You have to. You're dragging him with you.
I'd bring my friend Antoine. He's awesome.
There you go.
One movie, probably Spirited Away.
That's good.
That's like the best movie ever. Is there a third thing?
An album.
I don't know. I guess something that's really long. I don't know. Maybe Under the Iron Sea by Keane. I love that album.
All right.
I don't even know if it's long, but yeah.
Oh, hey, but you like it, so that's good enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
The album. It's out this Friday, and it's on Bandcamp Friday. So
Okay. Very exciting. Well, thank you for now. That's been Spring Silver, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.